Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you about overthinking. Overthinking is something that will cause you to sabotage your life in so many ways, and yet so many people do it. Overthinking is really just anxiety that takes a hold of you. And we all know, really, anxiety is just fear. It's a form of fear. And what it does is it steps in and tells you things that are not true and will cause you to blow up a situation into something that it really never was. Overanalyzing things can cause you to think that people don't like you or are mad at you when really there's no evidence of that. Or it can cause you to believe that you aren't going to be successful at whatever it is you're trying to do because you don't have all of the answers. And what I'm here to tell you today, and what universe wants you to know, is that you do not have to have all of the answers. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to worry. You don't have to have every last detail in place. We try to control so many things in our lives, and we really shouldn't be doing that because a lot of what happens to us has already been planned out. We do have some free will here and there, but I believe the main lessons that we have to go through in life, we have to go through. So when we try to control every little thing that happens to us, we just end up making it much, much worse. There have been so many times in my own life where overthinking got me into so much trouble. I remember I never even wanted to go hang out with people when I was in high school because I had social anxiety. I always felt like, okay, people are talking about me behind my back, or, they don't like me, they're just being kind to my face. Stupid things like that. And even if they were, so what? I ended up missing out on a lot of fun things that I could have done because I worried too much what other people thought about me. And for most of my life, I've been that way. I worried what other people thought, and I wanted to appear as though I had it all together and that I was this person who, anyone would be proud to know. When really, that was not me at my happiest. That was me living with anxiety 24/7 and not even realizing that I was living with anxiety because I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize there was a name for it. I didn't realize that this wasn't normal. Like most people, but actually I think probably a lot of people live with anxiety and just don't realize it. But it's not the way we're supposed to be living. Let me put it that way. Because I feel like there are a lot of people who walk around with a lot of anxiety and they just don't say anything because they don't realize either that this is what it is. And you may even be listening to this now and going, oh my gosh, I do that, and I didn't realize it was anxiety. I didn't know. When I started going to counseling at 41 years old, and she said, well, you have anxiety. I'm like, what? Because I had been to counseling before, and I'm like, why is this the first time anyone's telling me this? Like, I didn't know what it was. But I guess until I actually described the thoughts that go into my head, is when she said, yeah, you're overthinking and overanalyzing it because you have anxiety. And a lot of people that I know tell me they do the same thing. So many of us have it. So what do we do to stop doing it? Because the universe message to me to give to everyone today was very clear. It was stop overanalyzing everything and stop overthinking things. And I got a huge reminder in my own life to quit doing that. But it's easy to do, right? It's easy to fall back into that. What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, I have to think about this. What about that? And the truth is, we can't control every single factor in our life. We can't. Other people play a role. Other people play a part. And you can't control what other people do. And you shouldn't try to control what other people do. You need to just let go and relax and be happy, which can be very difficult for people sometimes. But I'm telling you, if you're trying to control other people, that is manipulation. That is wrong. It's not okay. It's not okay to mess with someone else's free will. And that took me a long time to learn because I grew up in a home where that was very common. And that's not okay. You have to be okay with who you are and live your own life. And you're interacting with other people, but you can't control what they do. That's not up to you. And again, that's a lesson that's really difficult for a lot of people because what they do affects you. So you're trying to control that because you want control over your own life and you want your own life to go smoothly. But I'm here to tell you, you cannot control what others do. And once you start realizing that and once you start letting that go, you're going to know a peace like you've never known before. Yes, sometimes people will do things that you don't like, that affect you. But again, you can't control that. You've got to live your own life. You can control how you react to people. And remember, we said healthy boundaries. So if somebody's doing something and you don't like it and it affects you, you absolutely can say, when you do this affects me this way and I don't like it. But you can't change what they do. And most of the time, people don't realize that they do things that bother us. So it's up to us to really say, and you don't have to be mean, just saying like, I don't care for it when you do X, Y, or Z. So you set your healthy boundaries, and then from there, again, you can't control the person. So if they keep doing it and it's something you can't live with and you need to just release them from your lives, do it. But you can't change their behavior. All you can control is yourself. And really, when you're overanalyzing and overthinking, you're worrying about controlling everything outside of you instead of just focusing on you. If we would focus solely on ourselves and worry about ourselves and not what everyone else and their neighbor and brother are doing, life would be so much better. I mean, think about it. I think about this because when I go to where I work, I know people who, and this is present place of employment and past places, there are people who will gossip about every single person they work with. And you know immediately, like, don't talk to that person because they gossip about you too. You know they do because that's just who they are. And those types of people, it's really kind of sad. It's sad that they feel they have to do that. Because there's no point. They're just making themselves feel better by talking about everyone else and what everyone else is doing. And that's sad. It's really kind of pathetic. If you want to really change your life, focus on you, not on what everyone else around you is doing. You know, I was working with a client just the other day, and she is such a sweet, sweet, lovely soul, but she was so concerned about other people around her, and that's exactly what we talked about was, you know, it's going to be okay, and worry about yourself and work on yourself, and everyone around you is going to fall into place, and it's true. I told her that when you work on yourself and when you heal yourself, those around you shift too. And sometimes they shift away from us if they weren't really, like they weren't meant for us. And sometimes they shift with us and they grow and they learn with us and they change. Simply because you're working on yourselves and they're like, wow, what are you doing differently? You look so great and you're so happy and I want to be like you. And that's exactly what happens. And I would tell you that I wouldn't have believed it myself, except I've seen it with my own family. People that I thought would never change started to. And it's a slow process because they're not working on themselves as quickly or as intensely as, I was, but that's okay. The fact that they were even interested was a huge step. Huge. And we can't control, again, our loved ones or what they do. But as I was talking to this client about, she was so worried and so afraid and so upset that other people around her were going to be jealous or wouldn't want to grow with her and just different things. And again, it was the anxiety. It's the overanalyzing and thinking too much about all of the possible outcomes. And I get it, because if, let's say, for example, you start a new relationship with someone, you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know where you're going to be 10 months down the road. But if you spend your whole time worried and overanalyzing and thinking about the situation, you're going to ruin it. You're going to sabotage it, which is what I always used to do in the past. I did that a lot because I would just be thinking ahead, like, where are we going to be this far down the road? Or, how's this going to turn out? And I finally have come to the realization that I don't have control a lot over things that happen in my life, to a degree. So I need to learn how to just be patient, sit back and take things one day at a time, and not try to jump 5 months ahead or 6 months ahead, and just deal with the here and the now and just enjoy the present moment. Because remember, when you try to live in the future, you're going to cause yourself so much anxiety because you worry about things that have never come to pass, and they may never come to pass. The things that you're worrying about may never happen. They probably won't happen. But you're kind of calling that in because you're so focused on it and so worried about it. And where you put your attention, that is what grows. So if you're putting your attention on the anxiety and on the worry and on the what ifs, and this is going to come to pass, then it will, because you're calling it into being with your energy. But if you focus on the here and the now, and I'm happy, and this is what I want more of, that's what you're calling in. I'm happy now, and this is what I want more of. I want to be happy now, and I want to continue to be happy. That's where you need to have your focus, because that's what will grow if that's what you focus on. If you focus on how you feel every day and the blessings you have every day and the things that you see in your life that you love every day, that's what you're going to nurture, and that's what's going to grow. But if you continue to worry and to focus on all the things that could go wrong, all the ways that you're not going to have what you want or you need, then you're going to be calling more of that crap into your life, and you don't want that. Plus, you're going to make yourself super anxious. And it's hard because our brains normally just want to start overthinking. They're just constantly going. And that's why I think meditation is so important, and the practice of meditation, and even tapping, because that is what is going to quiet your mind. That is where you are going to train your brain to stop the overthinking, because it's like a runaway train, right? When your brain starts that, it's hard to stop it. You can, and it takes practice, but it's hard to stop a moving train. And it's hard. Think again of that example of the whirlpool. When you start walking around the pool in one direction and you just keep going and going, and then you turn the other way, the pressure of that water almost pushes you under. And it's hard to stop it and to get it to go the other direction. It is possible, but it's difficult. This is why it's so important not to even let your brain or your mind start to go down that path, because it's so hard to stop once you do. But like I said, meditation is a great way to really stop that. When you feel like your mind is just racing and you know that you're on that runaway train of your thoughts going, what if, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm so scared about it, and what if this happens, and what if that happens, what if I go back to school and I don't pass, what if I can't handle working and going to school, what if I get this job, what if I change careers and I don't like it, and I should never have done that, and I want to go back to my old career. It's all the what ifs, right? And the universe is telling you, stop it. Like, we're here. We're right behind you. We want to help you. But you've got to let go. You've got to let go of that anxiety and that worry, and you've just got to trust. And trust, that's a difficult thing, especially for those of us who were hurt before, which is probably everyone, and who felt like they couldn't trust from an early age. That makes it really difficult. But the universe is saying, listen, we're here and we're trying to help you. You got to stop resisting it. And those thoughts you're having, the overthinking and the overanalyzing and the what ifs, That's you stopping the universe. You're putting up resistance to whatever it is the universe wants to bring you. And I get it. I had that with my book when I first started it. I sent it to a couple of publishers and they're like, no, this isn't really the type of stuff, that we publish. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if? And I started down that rabbit hole of the what ifs. And then I said, you know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter because I'll publish it myself if I need to. I know this is good. I know it needs to be out there. I know it's going to help people. And that's what I said. And then all of a sudden, someone threw a name out there of a publisher I contacted and they're like, yes. So you know what? You've got to stop, because when you're resisting that and you're doing that whole negative thinking, overthinking, all of the what could possibly go wrong, you are blocking the blessings from coming in. And you're making it harder. You're making it harder is what you're doing. The universe says trust. Okay, trust. It took a huge leap of faith for me to leave the job that I had been at for 12 years. I loved the people I worked with, and I loved the district. And I was scared to death because even though I was excited because, hey, it's a 5-minute drive to work instead of 50, and I get 2 hours of my day back, there are a lot of things that I'm leaving that I loved about my old job. The people, I knew what was going on. I was a part of what was going on, and now I'm just I have no idea from day to day sometimes. I have no clue what's going on, right? Because I'm new, and there was really no orientation program into the high school, so I'm just kind of winging it. I don't have a mentor, and I feel like I'm just kind of out there. And I could let all of those things be like, why did I do this? I could start that whole thing. But there are so many positive things about the change. I've met a lot of really great people. My students are amazing. I'm with my children at my school their senior year, and I absolutely love that. That right there alone is priceless because I see them every day. They come to my room every day. And I never had that before. And I feel like it has made our relationship stronger. And I love that. And that to me was worth anything, all of it, everything. And I could choose to focus on the negatives. I could. But if I did that, I would just be making myself miserable, and I'm blocking the blessings. And when I chose to focus on the positives that were coming in, it's like more of that came in. More of that started coming in. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to see negative things coming into my life. I want to feel so amazingly blessed every day. And that's why starting off with gratitude every morning. Thank you for these people in my life. Thank you for this job opportunity. Thank you for my home and for my family and for all of the things that I see every day that are a blessing to me. And when you start with that, you begin to realize how truly blessed you are. And then more of that. That's what you're focusing on. And guess what you're calling more of in? The blessings. So while it's easy to see all of the things that could go wrong in whatever situation you're facing, and I know many of you are in career transitions, and that is a huge area where you could choose to focus on all of the things that could go wrong and all of the negative. But I'm telling you, don't do that to yourself. The universe is saying, trust us. We're here. We've got you. We've got this net below you. You're not going to fail. You're not going to fall. We've got you. And you just have to trust. And every once in a while, just look up and say, thank you for having my back. And when you put things into perspective, there are people who would just kill to have what you have. So be grateful for everything. And even the lessons that hurt, those taught you something. They taught you how strong you are. They taught you a lesson that you had to learn. So even be grateful for that. And those of you who are going through relationship transitions and career transitions, I know it can be scary. I know that. I've been through it all, I'm telling you. So I know how scary it can be. But again, the universe is just saying, trust. Stop resisting. If more and more people would just learn how to go with the flow, life would be so much easier. We make it harder than it needs to be sometimes. And that's only natural because we are human. We're human, and there are conditions that we face because we're supposed to, because we're learning. We're supposed to be learning how not to make things harder for ourselves, how to trust, how to believe that our blessings are on the way, that we're cared for, that we're deeply loved. We're learning that every day. And the more and more you just let go, stop resisting with your thoughts, the easier it's going to be. And I know that some of you are saying, it's so hard to change my thoughts. I understand. I really do. When that happens, do me a favor. Take a moment wherever you are and take a deep breath in. And when you exhale, imagine letting go every worry you have. Just take a few deep breaths like that. And then I want you just to call in your team. Just say a little prayer. I include my entire spiritual team. So I always say, I call on everyone. I say, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Guides, and of course God. Whatever you call your higher power, I call in that whole team. And I just talk to them. I let them know what's going on. Some people will tell you, and if you were raised in a certain religion, they may tell you you have to pray a certain way, and that's such bull. You don't. Just say what's on your mind. Just open your heart and just say, listen, I'm having a problem because I can't stop overthinking about this situation, and I want to be at peace. I don't want to think about all the things that could go wrong. I want to give it to you. I want to let it go, and I'm having a problem doing that, and I need your help. And just honestly talk to your team and tell them what you need, because they're here to help. But we have to ask. They have to know we need it. They can't intervene without that. And I think that so many times people just try to solve every problem themselves instead of going to their team and saying, listen, here's the problem and I need help. Because I'm here to tell you that every time I've done that, I may not have gotten the help in the way that I thought I needed it or that I wanted it, but it still came through. Be open to how your blessings and your miracles show up for you. But believe that they will, because they will. And the universe is just telling you, please, please don't worry. Don't worry. Don't waste an ounce of your precious energy worrying, because it's not going to help you. It's not going to change your situation. It's not going to solve your problem. All it's doing is disturbing your peace and draining you of your precious energy. It's robbing you of your peace of mind, and the universe wants you to be so happy. And you're not going to be if you're worried about everything that could possibly go wrong in your life. So the universe is asking you to give that up. Give us your burden. Give us your burden. You are not meant to live a life of worry and anxiety. You are meant to live a life where you feel at peace. And if you need help, again, find some meditations. When I take a bath at night, sometimes I like to listen to music, the angelic tones sometimes. And you can just go on YouTube and search for it. It's the angelic tones. And it will raise your vibration. And there are just certain songs that I like. And in my program, A Purposeful Pilgrimage, I list a lot of the songs that I listen to that just make me feel so much better. It can take me from a mood of and worried and upset to just peaceful and happy. And that's how you should feel. You shouldn't be feeling the worry all the time. So give your brain a rest and call on your spiritual team. You can tap, you can do a meditation. And remember the tappings, there are so many different topics you can tap for. They're all on YouTube. Just search. Brad Yates has some. Nick Ortner has some. I even have some tappings in my older podcasts. You can go through and look for those episodes. But you don't need to live your life worried. Okay, the universe says, give your worry to us. We're going to help you. All right, guys, I wanted to pull a card for you before I ended the podcast, and I pulled the card from the Archangel Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue, and it's courage. Archangel Ariel, be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. So I love this because to me, it's not even just about standing up for your beliefs. It's just be courageous in all areas of your life. Live your life with such courage that you would never, and no one around you would ever believe that you were ever afraid of anything. Even though we know that fears pop up and they come in, we can tap them away. We can meditate them away. We can focus on the good. Don't be afraid. Whatever it is that you're about to undertake, you can do it. And I'm telling you this because I have been there. I have started new things in my life that scared the crap out of me. And where I would have wanted to turn around and quit the second day because I was so afraid of what people were going to think, what they were going to say. And every day when I get farther and farther into this journey, I still have those fears. I still have that what if, what are people going to think? What is my family going to think? And I've just learned to say, I don't care. It's going to be fine. The universe has my back, and it doesn't matter what other people think of me. What matters is what I think of me, and that's how I'm going to live my life. And I hope that that's how you choose to live yours too, because there's such freedom and peace in that. Well, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Thank you for listening again. If you like this podcast, the greatest thing you can do is share it with others. That helps me so much because it expands my audience, and I'm trying to reach as many people to help them as possible. And, some people share my podcast on social media. That's amazing too. Thank you so much for doing that because, as I said, I'm trying to grow my listener base just to help as many people. I don't make any money off of this podcast. I just do it because I enjoy helping people. So if you would feel so inclined to leave a review for me or to share it with others, that is probably one of the most amazing things you can do for me. Or to subscribe, because again, when people see that more people have left reviews or that they've subscribed, that helps me to show up when other people search for a podcast. So thank you to those of you who've already done that or are doing that. I really, really, truly appreciate you. I do. And if you would love to work with me, as I would love to work with all of you, you can book a session with me, a Reiki session, a coaching session, or a past life regression, or even a reading. In the readings and everything that I do, I connect with you and your spiritual team before we even meet. And I get any information I need from your team about you to work with you. So everything that I do is intuitive and with my team, and I get more information that way. I'm not just working with, I'm not just going off the top of my head, and I'm actually working with you and your guides and my guides to give you the best treatment possible, whether that's a coaching session and we work on whatever it is you need in whatever area of your life you need. We work together, and I want you to get the most out of your session. I'm all about healing, and that's why I'm here, and I want to heal as many of you as possible because that's my mission, is to help heal and to teach people about unconditional love. So thank you for being with me. Contact me if you'd like a session. You can also go to my website just to see what I offer. You can book through my website, but most people just prefer to contact me, and that's fine because then we can find the session that fits your schedule the best. Also, don't forget to join me on my Facebook Lives. They are on Mondays at 5:30 Central Time. We have so much fun. I pull cards for people. And I also, even if you can't make it on the live, will pull cards for people who watch the replay. So don't forget to join me. I hope you have a beautiful day. I am sending you massive love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.